Hi everybody, Martyn Flicking Feathers again today. I'm tying this fly. It's very simple. The carp caterpillar. I've got it's just a foam caterpillar that I use for carp fishing a lot. In the last video I put on fly fishing for carp with terrestrials, that was the fly that I started with. But I lost the last one I had in my box, so I'm tying a wee restock. It's dead easy, it's very effective, and it works for other species too. Now it's foam, but it's not really a dry fly. It sort of suspends or sinks incredibly slowly. It just hangs. It's just like a wee grub that's dropped off an overhanging tree. And at this time of year here, they can be very useful. It will depend where you are, what time of year they're most effective, or if they're useful to you. But anyway, put a materials list in the description, along with a link to the Patreon page, etc. for anybody who wants to support the channel, get access to the members only content, the online fly tying classes, and be entered into the giveaways for the flies tied on the channel. So I've got my hook and my vise. This is a Kamasan B175. This is a size 8. This is just an ideal size for here for the carp. It's a good strong hook. There's only a couple of trout hooks that I'll use for carp, and this is one of them. This and the Kamasan B200, the deep water nymph. They're strong enough, but nothing else, right? And I've run on some Uni 6.0 and tan, and I've put on a good bed of thread, and I've zigzagged up and down, cross hatching it, because I'm going to stick the foam to the body, and I want it to have something to grip to. So I've got a bit of, this is 2mm tan foam. You can use whatever, root beer, bright green can work, olive foam, cream, yellow. It just depends on the caterpillars and grubs where you live. And it's cut maybe just under a gap and a half wide. And what I'm going to do is take a lighter and sort of melt the end a wee bit. Use the heat to sort of pull it and get a wee shape, and then really melt it. Don't let it go on fire, but melt it, and then you can fuse it together. You will maybe burn yourself if you're not careful. Right, you end up with this, right, like a wee, makes like a wee pouch almost. Right, it's melted, it's become one thing. Just want to darken it up a wee bit. There we go. Right, and this is, you get that wee dark spot a bit like the head of the caterpillar. Now, I've got the thread part right at the back here. I've come round the bend. I'm going to let that be like a wee head. Right, so the hook sort of nestles in that wee cup that I've made in the foam. Get a good few wraps on. If you take a couple of wraps in front, that anchors the thread, then you can come in. Right, now I'm going to take a hackle, just a saddle hackle, kind of ginger colour. Again, colour wise, up to yourself really, match what's available near you. Some caterpillars are kind of contrasting colours. Stripped a good bit of the stem there, right, maybe 10mm. Got to tie it and leave a wee bit of bare stem at the foam section here for that first turn, and then we'll just come in and secure it inside again. That will just keep everything out of the way. Then I'll come back and park my thread in the groove. Now I can come in with my sizing. I'm going to come in and cut this right at the back of the eye. Get a wee slight stretch, just check my length. Want it right up there. so that the foam's right hard against it. Just got to clean that with the fine scissor. I mean, you would never see it, but I don't like it. So I've got to glue this. So this is just brushable super glue, and I'm putting it on the whole surface of the foam on the inside there. Then push down and fold it around the shank. And don't worry if it doesn't stick 100%, right? It's no super important. And you should have something like that, right? A wee like sandwich. It's almost like if what you would do tying a crease fly or something. And you can see the eyes just poking at the front. That will draw in a wee bit as I go forward. I'm going to take my thread forward. How many segments you want is entirely up to you. I usually go for 6 wraps. Right, and the last one there at the head. And I just leave this wee lip of foam. That doesn't matter at all, right? So, in order just to, I mean, you don't really need to do this, but to protect the hackle, I'll come in with your wee blobs of head cement on the thread wraps. I'll wipe it off the exposed foam. I just want it on the groove, and then the hackle stem will sort of bed into it. I'll take a full turn at the back and then come forward. And you don't need to worry about sizing your hackle here, because you're going to cut it like into a wee sort of brush. Again, a kind of full turn at the front there, tie off. 3 wraps, bring my thread to the front, and I'll whip finish. Right. I mean, I'm using these for carp. If you're using them for trout, the hackle could be damaged by the fish, right? Or if you're catching a wee panfish or something, then wee rough mouths. But when I'm carp fishing, it's really more about the forceps. Your forceps can burst the hackle quite easily when you're taking the hook out. So the last thing to do, now that I've whip finished and trimmed everything off, is cut this hackle. And I just come around, just as I would a Dave's hopper. You know, try to leave a decent wee fuzzy body. Don't trim it too short. And you don't need to worry about it being super even. And if you notice, I'm actually using a curved scissor, so the tips are kind of getting a wee bit, but that's fine. And if anything, I like the bottom a wee bit shorter, but again, I don't know that it really makes a great deal of difference. In fact, I know that it doesn't, but it's just what I like to see, because I feel like I want a nice clear hook gap. And there you go, that's the wee foam carp caterpillar. It's a deadly wee fly. Like, I know it's no fancy and people don't think they look like much, but when you get into the way of tying these, it takes you a couple of minutes. And man, these summer fish, when if you've got overhanging vegetation, I guarantee you there's a caterpillar coming off it at some point. And fish know that and they eat them. So tie some up. Alright? So, hope that was useful. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up below and I'll see you for another one. Deadlines, guys. Bye.